What's going on, guys? Alex here, and maybe a little deja vu from a couple of my very first videos I posted up. It feels weird standing in front of a WRX hatchback. Feels good though. Feels weird but good. But so if you saw my first video, you saw that we picked it up. Now that we have it, a couple of videos coming on the way for this. This is going to be part one. This extremely long video is going to show you guys how I wash the car. I'm going to clay bar it. I'm going to wash it, clay bar it, and then seal it. Before we get started, I just want to point out one thing. A lot of the stuff that I'm going to show you is just how I do it. It's not necessarily a right or a wrong way to do it. If you go on YouTube and you know who Larry Kosilla or however you say it is, he's like the master of all detailers. So I will post a description, or I'll post a link to his videos in the description. He really helped me out with how to wash and detail everything. And one of his analogies that he uses is there's more than one ways to dig a hole. Some people use a shovel, some people use a backhoe, some people use a spoon. At the end of the day, as long as the hole's dug, it doesn't really matter how you got there. So this is just how I clean and make my cars look good. So let's get started. Alright guys, so the first thing that I always do is I always start out with the wheels first, because the wheel cleaner and the tire and wheel cleaner soap that I use is a lot harsher than the soaps that you want to use on the actual body. So by doing the wheels and the tires first, once you rinse off the car to start washing the body, you'll end up rinsing off any of the, not necessarily harmful, but the stronger detergents and soaps and such like that. So the first thing I do is I get my 2 buckets. I definitely use the 2-bucket method for the wheels and the body. I use 2 separate buckets for the wheels because, again, they get really dirty, and you don't want to use the same soaps and such that you'd use for the rest of the body. So you get your 2 buckets, you're just going to take your spray down the wheels, whatever spray you want, and usually you'd let this sit for about, I don't know, a couple minutes, but you don't want it to dry. And now these wheels have already been sitting in the solution for about, I'd say probably 2 minutes, so they'll be okay. So the first thing I do is I take a brush, a nice firm brush, and I clean the tire, because at the very end, one of the very last things I do is I go back over the wheels and tires with some quick wax and some tire wet. And this is going to help the tire wet stay on longer and look better for a long time. So once you've got a good amount of soap and scrubbing in, I like to move to one of these thinner brushes, because you can fit in between the spokes where your fingers might not be able to get to. Now the very last step I do is I bought one of these mitts that have both the scrub on one side and the fabric on the other, and this allows me to really grab around each spoke individually and get into the tough, tight spots. Alright guys, on the last step, just give it a good rinse. Alright guys, the wheel looks really good, and like I said, the very last thing after I'm done completely detailing the entire rest of the car is once I pull it in the driveway, then I hit it with a little bit of tire shine and a little bit of you can use either wheel wax, but I use just a little bit of spray, quick wax, and it really leaves the wheels with a really nice deep shine, and it helps protect it for the next time that I wash it. I definitely notice a difference that there's way less brake dust and other debris stuck to the rim. So let's go ahead and move on to the rest of the car. Alright guys, we're about to start on the body. As you can see, I got 2 different buckets. These are actually different colors, just to make sure that I don't mess up from using my 2-bucket method. I got one with the soap, one with the rinse water, and because today, and I need to stress this too, because today I will be clay barring, applying a new set of wax, or a new layer of wax, and a sealant, I will be using Dawn dish soap. And the reason I'm using this is because the soap that I usually use has a little bit of wax in it, and for the purposes of, I really want to make sure that I take all the contaminants and everything off the paint and the clear coat before I reseal it. I want to make sure that I get all the stuff off beforehand. And Dawn dish soap really gets every layer off of your paint and your clear coat. You know, I shouldn't say every layer, but most of the layers. Definitely more than my usual wash and wax combo, the soap and the wax, because if you use that, you have more of a chance of trapping in some of the dirt and debris that's on your paint already. So I'm going to hit this first layer with some Dawn dish soap, and I'm just going to show you guys what I do on the hood, because that's basically what I do for the rest of the car. So let's get started. Alright guys, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit it with some water, just rinse it off. And this is also a good point to where if I have any like bugs or I have any like goo or anything, I hit it with a little bit of a bug and tar remover beforehand, let it soak for a minute, and then rinse that off, because I never mix my bug and tar remover with the soap. I never want to hit my bug and tar remover with my mitt, because I don't want those two things to mix together, because I don't want it to affect the rest of the car and the rest of the cleaning product. So let's go ahead and rinse it off. Alright guys, just take my mitt, fill it with a lot of soap, and I move down the body. And you really want to work in straight lines, because that's how you get swirls. You have a better chance of swirls in your paint. You go in circles. Do the layer and then hit it with the rinse bucket. Alright guys, so I just finished cleaning up the car, and this is probably my least favorite part of the whole thing, is drying, because it's pretty stressful. There's some things that you can buy online that are drying lubricators, because this is where most people get the most swirls and scratches in their paint. Basically, they use like a towel, or they use a dirty microfiber, or they use one of them squeegees, and it's a really bad way to get lines and swirls and everything in your paint. So I'm going to show you how I dry off a car. If you have like a leaf blower or something that you can use, I highly recommend that, because touching the body in any way with like a dry or wet towel is like one of the most dangerous ways to get any sort of scratches or swirls. But if you do it properly, then you really have nothing to worry about. So I'm just going to show you how I do it. So first, I take my clean and dry microfiber, and I like to get it just a little bit damp, so I'm going to hit it with the hose real quick. A little bit. I'm going to wring it out. I don't want it soaking wet, but I do want it a little bit damp, because a damp towel picks up water a lot better than a dry towel. Alright guys, and I'm going to fold it up, and very carefully I'm going to go layer by layer up the towel. So my first thing, I'm going to take it, I'm going to go at the end, I'm going to make a nice streak, just push the water off, and then I'm going to go up just a little bit on the towel and do the next one. Alright guys, and I'm gonna repeat this process until the hood and the rest of the car is dry. Every once in a while, when your towel gets full of water, you can just wring it out. And I suggest going through at least a couple of towels. You know, do a towel for the front and the top, do a towel for the roof, do a towel for each of the sides, just to be as safe as possible. So I'll catch you guys when I'm all done. Alright guys, so we just washed it completely and dried it off. The next thing I'm going to do is use a clay bar and clay bar the entire car, make sure every single contaminant is off that I can get before applying a new set of wax and a new sealant. So first thing you want to do is you're going to take your clay bar. Be very careful not to drop it on the floor. If you drop it on the floor, absolutely throw it away. So you're going to take your clay bar and you're just going to take probably a fourth. And then you're going to place the rest back in the box. Then you're going to take your clay bar and you're just going to kind of mash it, kind of play with it a little bit, trying to get it into a pizza shape. A whole pizza. So once you have a little section like this, just enough to cover the tips of your fingers, you're going to take your area and you're going to spray it down with some either quick detailer or whatever. I know McGuire's and Mother's, they come with sets that'll come with your lubricant and your clay bar. So you're just gonna hit the area that you wanna polish out first. Pretty generously. And then in straight motions, you're gonna use your clay bar. You never wanna go into circles. And once you've hit that really well, you're going to go ahead and dry the rest of the area off with a microfiber towel. Alright guys, I'm going to continue this process and do the entire car. Alright guys, so I just clay barred the whole car. Now for the fun part. Now I actually get to use my Porter Cable 7424 XP. I got it from Chemical Guys, got a nice bundle on it. Today I'm going to be using the blue pad, and I'm going to be doing 2 steps. The first step, I'm going to be using their V4, Chemical Guys V4 Extreme. It's an all-in-one. Not the absolute best way to do it, but for this application and what my results, what I want them to be, it's perfect. It's basically an all-in-one polish. It has a little bit of sealant in it as well, and it has some a little bit of grittiness to it, to where you're going to be able to get about 3,000 grit swirls out of the paint. So I'm going to be using that with the blue pad. And then I'm going to be finishing it off with some Chemical Guys Extreme Depth and X Seal. And this is what I use on all my cars to prep them for the winter time, because it's a really, really good sealant. It's going to last about, hopefully, a couple months just through those winter months. And then in the springtime, I'll be able to do this whole process over again and get it really nice and shiny. So I'm going to get started. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to show you guys exactly how it goes because I'm running out of battery on the camera. Plus, there's 1,000 other videos on YouTube to show you exactly how to use a dual action polisher. So I will catch you guys when I'm done. Alright guys, so it's actually the next day, because by the time I got done with the wax and everything, it was like midnight. So no light outside, so just decided to go to bed and film the rest of this the next day. It came out pretty good. There was hella swirl marks and scratches from the previous owner. And since I didn't do any sort of like, whatever you call it, paint correction or body correction or anything like that, there's still a little bit of swirl marks and stuff in there. You can see it in the sunlight. But at least it's somewhat protected and waxed, and it still looks good. Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed watching me wash my car, how I wash my cars. Again, this is just how I do it. There's 1,000 different ways out there. If there's anything specific that you do that you think I should do, let me know in the comments. If there's anything that I did wrong that you think is just detrimental, let me know in the comments. Go ahead and give me a like and a thumbs up, and I am about to start filming 2 more videos. Hopefully get those in today. 1 installing rally armor mud flaps, and 2 installing or debadging the rear badge, the dealership badge they put on it. So anyway, watch out for those videos, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace. Here, Subaru. Definitely Subaru.